I'm back. Like I never left. It's summertime now. We are out of lockdown here in Ontario. Well, we're still in stage 2, which means that it's not completely like all in well, but we're on the up and up.
Closer, closer, closer. A little closer, closer from the last one.
Hopefully things stay this way. But yeah, I wanted to get on here and talk about a few things because a lot has happened in the last 6 weeks that I don't think I've really shared with my YouTube fam. And the main thing is that I launched a business with my mommy. It's called Beijing Table. I'll link it here. My mom is an amazing cook, and everything that I know or I've learned about cooking, I've learned from her or been inspired from her and my grandmother. And my mom decided to kind of pursue this dream of, a catering business. So I've been helping my mom with that because I think that there's definitely strengths in numbers, and I think it's something that we could do together, and it's super fun. And it's different. Like, it's different from makeup. It's different from lashing. It's something that I do every day. Obviously, everyone cooks in their house, but I actually enjoy it quite a bit, and my mom does as well. So here we are. But anyways, that is not what this video is about, but I definitely wanted to give you guys a quick rundown or crash info session on what's been going on with me. But today's video is all about the biggest mistakes I made as a lash tech. And I'm going to tell you guys the honest truth. This is a video that I wanted to do for a really long time, but I've been so nervous to do it because I'm like, wow, I really have to sit here and put myself out there and explain my mistakes. But you know what? It's one of those things where I feel like if I could share information on mistakes that I made that helps somebody else's journey a lot better, I feel like that's something that I would be willing to do. So let's go. I wrote them down last night, officially. I always had them in the top of my head, but I wrote them down last night officially because I knew today was the day. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. First things first. I think that every new lash tech struggles with this. I was one that struggled with this for about a good year. I kid you not. And that's rushing through my lash appointments. You see when you first start as a lash tech, you see all the girls online that are super fast and advertising that, fills in an hour, or full sets done in an hour, the Beijing coming out, or full sets done in an hour and a half. And while that sounds great, I can tell you from experience, when I first started getting my lashes done, I started going to this girl that was really good. She would have my fills done in 45 minutes. She could do a full set in an hour and a half. And I thought it was amazing until I started to realize that she was really not waiting for the glue to adhere properly to my eyes. And I was basically having issues with when one lash would fall out, it'd be like a row or pretty much 4 attached to that. And it was pulling out my natural lashes. And that was me being lazy. That was me being cheap and wanting to cut corners and, pay these cheaper prices. And I think I'm okay now, but I remember there was a period after stopping going to that girl for about 7 months when my lashes were severely damaged. And that's when I realized, as a lash tech, I don't ever want to be that girl that's okay, I'm trying to do lashes so fast that I'm compromising the quality of my service. I'm compromising the health of my clients' natural lashes. So I really want you guys to remember this. Don't compromise any of those things at the risk of being faster, at the risk of looking like your skill is at a certain level. Your skill is at a certain level when clients continue to keep coming back to you, and when you're lashing them, you see that you're not damaging their natural lashes. And I can tell you right now, I promise you that girl's turnaround is probably through the roof because people realize that. I stopped going to her, and now I go to another girl that's, I love her so much, that she just really knows what she's doing, and she takes pretty much the same amount of time I do to do lashes, and that makes me feel good because I know that she's putting in the work to make sure that she's taking care of my natural lashes and making sure that I'm getting quality for what I'm paying for. Lashes are not cheap, so why would you feel like it's okay as a lash tech to take people's money and not be giving them a certain quality of service? I think that's so lazy. I think that's so wrong, and that's something that I definitely pride myself on, is that I take time and care with each client to make sure that they're happy and to make sure I'm not damaging their lashes and making sure that they feel that they got value for what they paid for. So that was one of the main things as a new lash tech, is me feeling like I need to rush through appointments. And I never got to that stage, but I remember beating myself up, feeling bad that I wasn't faster. But give yourself the time to learn. Make sure you master isolation. Make sure you master creating your fans. Make sure you master just making sure the lash sits on your eye the way it's supposed to sit. Make sure the directions are where they need to be. I've seen people rushing so much, and by the time you brush through the set, one lash is going this way, one lash is going that way, one is crossing over here. Make sure you take the time to master all those things. Do not worry about the speed. Speed will come with time. On to the next. What do we got? Second one, and I was a big culprit of this, is cutting corners on the cost of supplies. I know. When you first start a lash business, it's so expensive because you got to buy so many things. You got to get the bed, the light, your supplies. You got to get the training. So you try to cut corners where you can, right? But here's the thing: cutting those corners are great for you, but it's not great for the client. Clients are paying, like I said, a lot of money to get their lashes done, and I think it's fair for them to expect, with good aftercare, that they should last at least 2 weeks. I think lash retention is definitely 50% the artist and 50% the client. But if the client's doing everything they're supposed to be doing, it's unfair that their lashes should be falling out. So I feel like at the start of the service, ultimately you're the first person that's going to make sure that the lashes are prepared to last longer than a week. And doing that, you've got to really invest in your products. But things like glue, the lashes, primer, sealant, I would not cut corners with things like that. Just because those are the things that are really going to set your business apart from somebody else's. And I know for me, the reason why I continue to go back to the girl that I go to get my lashes done is because her supplies are A1. And I see it in terms of my retention. I see it in terms of when the lashes fall out. I can, every girl looks at them, you see the quality of lash. I see it when I'm washing my lashes. All of those are things that started with her, and now me as a client, my aftercare becomes that much easier because the quality of the supplies were there to begin with. So I would say yes, while you're practicing, like on your mannequin, for sure, use the cheap stuff, of course. But when you get to the point where you're really trying to elevate your service and give your clients an experience that they never had before, you're going to have to invest in quality supplies. If you get to the point where launching your own line, I say the same thing. Before you launch your line, test. I mean, test for at least minimum 6 months. That's what I did, to make sure that the ones that you do choose are the ones that are going to work and really take your business to that next level. I feel like I said this before, but in October last year, I really started to take my business seriously, and this included like elevating my products and taking them to a next level. And I could tell you that since then, there's been no looking back. Like, I cannot go back to a lot of the things that I used to use just because they were cheaper. So yeah, one of the things I would say is don't cut corners on supplies. It makes a huge difference. Next on the agenda, bad taping techniques. Ooh, okay. Taping is one of those things where it seems really minuscule, but it's super important. It's the difference between an amazing lash set and like and I say this because if you don't focus on your taping, when your client goes to open their eyes and say, for example, some things are stuck or you have some stickies or whatever is going on, now you're starting to remove those lashes, right? 99% of the time you're removing those lashes, you're not going back in and putting fans on. You're just hoping that the lash set kind of just looks uniform and stays the way it is. I mean, when I've made mistakes in taping, I definitely go back. I hope this garbage guy is not coming. Wow, is he really coming here right now? This is so annoying. Sorry, I had to turn off the camera and wait until the construction guys was done doing what he's doing downstairs. Sorry about that. So where were we? I said bad taping already, right? So you'll notice that it's a lot easier to lash when you know for sure, okay, the tape is secure, all the bottom lashes are down, so you don't have to worry about, okay, a client opens, now all of a sudden like half their eyes closed. Even for me, I still at times, I wouldn't say struggle, but have to remember that even though I'm having a lot of fun talking to my clients, if they're moving around or laughing too much, that affects the taping. So a lot of times I'll tell my client, like, girl, like, don't laugh on the inside, because once the tape starts moving and those bottom lashes come out, if you don't fix them before the end of your service, you are in for it when the client goes to open their eyes and just like a lot of stuff is stuck down. Then you got to kind of comb through and now look and see what's what, and it honestly is discouraging because you've spent 2.5 hours now to like try and pop off lashes that shouldn't be lashed. So yeah, because you want to just avoid that at all costs. It'll make your life so much easier. So practice. Me, this is definitely me. The fourth on the list is not having an efficient booking process. Oh Lord. For the longest time, probably for the first 2 years of my business. Yeah, for the first 2 years of my business, I was booking through DMs. And I thought I had an efficient process, but clearly I didn't, because pretty much people would book and then I would send them like a pre-typed thing, like here's the address, here's whatever. But then you go into an issue where people can't remember your name on Instagram, or they change their name so frequently when you go back to find them, you can't find them. And I did that for 2 whole years, guys. 2 years. Don't be like me. Get an efficient process. Right now, I'm using Jupiter, which I absolutely love, and I'm so upset. I literally got an email like yesterday saying that they're closing in the next 3 months, so I now have to find a new booking process. So I think I might go through like Acuity. I was looking at Acuity scheduling, but I feel like that might be one that's comparable. There's things that Jupiter had that Acuity doesn't, but I feel like those are simple things that I could work around. So yeah, whatever, but get an efficient booking process. My booking process right now is I like to book manually still. A lot of people want to open their book to so that clients can book automatically. I think that's great, but for some of you who might know, or maybe not all, I have a 9 to 5, and I also have this other business called Beijing Table. So I need to really pick and choose what slots I am available, and those sometimes change on a day-to-day basis, right? So I like to still book. So what it is through my website, when you send, how it works is you go to my website, you click on booking inquiry, and then people will send me an inquiry, basically like, okay, hey, I'm looking for this date, and they'll usually pick a slot like 11, 12 or something that they're thinking. And what I'll do is I would say about 80% of the time I can accommodate those slots, or maybe it might be an hour earlier or an hour later based on what the person picked. And then if I can, I kind of go back from that booking inquiry, because it goes directly to an app I have in my phone, and I can have a chat going back and forth with that person. The reason why I like that process is when someone sends a booking inquiry, I get their email, I get their phone number, I get their full name, I get to find out what it is that they want to get done. So I have all the information needed to create a booking. And that's just through the inquiry. So when they go ahead and say, hey, okay, yeah, that slot works. So we come to a slot, we've come to an agreement to a day and time that works. Now I have this whole chat of information where I could then plug it into my, what I use is Jupiter now, and I create like a client profile. So I can copy everything from that app into Jupiter, which is amazing. And then I can send out a confirmation, and that confirmation will then attach intake forms. It attaches the COVID release questionnaire. So, come through, sunlight, come through. So I'm able to then get the booking sent. And I found like when I started doing that, finding out tracking my revenue was a lot better. Obviously, rescheduling is a lot easier. When I was doing it through DMs, I was literally going through DMs, and then I was putting a calendar reminder in my own calendar. It was just so manual, right? That's what works for me. But I feel like if you're somebody who's doing this full time, definitely get a booking system, and just like Acuity scheduling, based on what I looked at, you basically set your hours and it's off to the races. People click that link and they can book directly with you, fill out forms. It seems really straightforward, but just because my business model is a little different and I have to really manage my time, I can't allow people to do that yet. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm probably going to start doing open scheduling on weekends only, but I haven't decided yet, because then, sometimes a girl wants to hit a patio. Sometimes she wants to go to a local barbecue, but it's a thought. So definitely make sure you have an efficient booking process. It makes your client experience that much better, and it makes your life easier. And what I definitely recommend is when you do get any booking system, create a dummy booking. Like, I pretended that I was a regular person. I went through my other phone, went through my website, did the whole process from beginning to end to see how I felt in terms of like, was this easy? Was it super confusing for the person? Because you want to make sure that if it's something that you would not do, like if you went to someone's service and you would not jump through the hoops they have you jump through the book, don't impose that on your clients. Try to make the process as easy and simple as possible. And to do that, you have to make sure it's foolproof by you testing it yourself. Next on the list, I think I've said this a million times, but I'm going to say it again because just in case this is somebody's first time watching my video, is please, please, please utilize ads. For the first year and a half, I did not really think that ads worked, but it's because I had this expectation that you put out an ad and then you have an influx of clients. Not every ad is going to hit, but what Instagram and Facebook is really good at is giving you insights. So you can start to see, okay, this demographic is not feeling this type of content. So you can kind of change, whether it's the location you're doing the ads from or the type of content that you're advertising in ads. Because, like when you do ads, it'll say like, you can type in as many different terms as possible. You can put eyelash extensions, beauty, makeup. Maybe you need to narrow that down a bit. What I kept doing is just recycling the same pocket, and it just wasn't giving me the results I needed. So definitely make sure that you spend time to look at those insights and try to really digest the information that's being given to you and make adjustments. Don't be afraid to sometimes lose a little bit of money, because that's what happens. You have to really, it's research. Really and truly what you're doing is research. So you have to invest, and then you're going to fail. And then you change things and you try to invest again, and then you might fail. Then you change things, you try to invest again, and then maybe you're like, okay, we're getting a little traction here. Then you could keep that demographic or whatever, pool or group you created based on that ad for another ad, and keep recycling it until that dries up. And then when you notice it's not working, you try something else. That's just pretty much what it is. It's research, and this is really good for you as a entrepreneur to know what your audience is. If you don't know your audience, I really hope this sun isn't going to make me look overexposed, because regardless, you guys are getting this video today. Let me move over here a little bit. What was I saying? Yeah, so your main thing as an entrepreneur is that you have to know what your audience is, and you're not going to know what your audience is until you kind of like have those trial and error moments. So don't be afraid to use ads. I don't say that you need to go and spend $100 every time you run an ad. You can spend $30 and run an ad for like 7 days or 5 days, 4 days, whatever, and just see what hits. You got to just you can't be afraid to try new things. And what I will say is that what changed my state of mind in terms of looking at it as like, oh, I'm wasting money, or that's money I'm taking out of my pocket, is that I told myself, okay, if I run this ad for $50 and I get one booking from this, I already paid for my ad. So really it wasn't a waste of money, because if you didn't run that ad, you wouldn't have got that one booking, right? You would have just been at the same amount of clients you've had steadily for the same amount of time. And what I love is, what I think one thing that you all should be doing is, whenever you do get a new client, in part of your conversation, oh, hi, nice to meet you. Oh, how'd you find my page? Oh, I saw an ad on Instagram. Ding. Now you know already the ad you just ran, it hits, because it hit somebody and that person just paid for your ad. So that's another way to change the way you think of it, to really make it seem a lot more valuable. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think that ads are invaluable and they work. You just got to be ready to throw a little extra money at it in the beginning while you're trying to get it up and running. So what was the last mistake? I mean, there's been an abundance of mistakes, but I just wanted to really touch on the ones that were major for me. And this one is like somewhat embarrassing to say, but I'm going to say it. And that was not putting in the work every single day. I remember there would be periods where I would go without posting for 3, 4, 5 days, sometimes 2 weeks. That's not me putting in the work every day. When you're running your own business, you are the only line of defense. Like, you're the only person there to really push it forward. If you have a day off, your business is just sitting standstill. It's not doing anything. So you got to wake up every day, and whether you post something on your story, you post on your Instagram, you research ads, you update your website, do something every single day to push your business to the next level and really make sure that you're putting in the work. Because if you don't, you can't expect the results just because you paid $2,000 for training. That's not how it works. The way you get your money back is that you get up and you put in the work. So that's definitely something that I feel like as of yeah, like October last year, I definitely feel like my mindset changed, and it pretty much changed when I started to realize that when I consistently put in work, I was getting the results I needed and then some. So you got to wake up every day and work at it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not at all saying you can't take breaks and that you need to just run yourself to the ground. Take those breaks. But when I say I was not putting in the work, I can honestly say there was a lot of those days that I was just not doing it off of just being lazy and feeling like there's no point. I'm not going to get a client anyway, so like I'll just stick to the clients I have. And that's not a good mindset to have, right? So you got to wake up every day and be ready to put in the work. Okay? So that's today's video. I just really wanted to talk about that. Hopefully it wasn't too like Debbie Downer-ish, or I don't feel it, or anyone doesn't feel like them getting at them. If anything, I'm getting at myself and just telling you guys what I did and the mistakes I made. So hopefully this will help you all with the start of your lash business. This video is really just here to help. I know how discouraging it is at times. I still get discouraged. I am not anywhere near where I want to be, but what I can say is that I feel like I'm trending in the right direction. And I don't think that was something I felt before, but now I feel it, and I know that it's only up and onward from here. So hopefully this knowledge will help anybody that's starting a business, a lash business, or any business for matter of fact, because I feel like this video has information that's transferable for sure. I mean, maybe not everything, maybe not about the taping and stuff, but there's some valuable information in there for sure, for anyone starting a business or anyone even in the beauty industry. If you have not already, I'm gonna need you guys to hit that like button and that subscribe button so that you're always aware when I post new videos and content. And until next time, guys, bye.